A small group of homeowners in Alabama who we've been following thought no one was listening to their concerns about a newly widened highway that they say has been flooding their homes even before the road was finished. The hardworking people of Shiloh, including a veteran in retirement, thought that they were just too small for anyone else to care. And they believe that because they're black, the state of Alabama that built the highway is treating them differently. In tonight's Prime Focus, our senior national correspondent Steve Osunsami revisits Shiloh as a federal civil rights investigation takes place, looking into whether what's happening there is environmental racism. After our report last fall on this program, the nation's top transportation officials took notice, and some people in high places decided to go visit this small town. Here's that story.
It's a warm Tuesday night in southern Alabama, in a place where they feel that both time and America have forgotten, and where the skies are about to open up.
Tuesday evening, still dry at this point, but showers and storms start to roll in around midnight. I think we're going to have more of a line, or at least a broken line of storms moving through from midnight through about 3 a.m. and beyond us by 6 a.m.
For most people, the rain shower that's coming wouldn't mean much at all. But for the landowners who we first told you about in our investigation from last October, who live below this newly built highway, even the smell of wet air makes everyone worry.
I'll probably end up getting a call if it starts raining hard. My neighbors will start calling and want me to run out here.
Pastor Timothy Williams is leading his neighbors in their fight against state officials who built the new freeway that he says put them in a bowl that fills with water anytime it rains. And they're getting ready for a big day. The highest transportation officials in the land have heard their call and are coming to visit in the morning.
They'll see, hey, we're not exaggerating. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You can't make this up.
The next morning, the rain had passed and the water was still draining when the out-of-town SUVs pulled in with the head of the Federal Highway Administration, an Assistant Secretary of Transportation, and then the U.S. Transportation Secretary himself.
Hello. How you doing? How you doing? Yes, sir. Nice to be with you. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir.
I think we're going to learn a thing or two here.
Yes, sir. We will.
This feels like a big deal.
And the water just goes crazy from the highway.
Because with his presence here, just a day after visiting the bridge collapse in Baltimore, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is putting pressure on Alabama officials who the families say aren't listening.
Yeah.
So however much builds up here, it's coming.
Everything. Yes, sir. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. But over on us. We have a retention problem. The state did this to us, brought these rocks in here, put all these rocks here. This is a snake bed right here. Snakes hang in this.
Already, people under him in Washington have launched a civil rights investigation looking into accusations from the black property owners here who say that the state of Alabama racially discriminated against them when they widened the highway and failed to stop the water.
We're very mindful, and this comes from the top, that everything we do needs to benefit everybody fairly.
Only 2 hours, and this is the amount of water that comes through our property here from over on the other side of the road.
They call this place Shiloh, a name from the Hebrew Bible, a rare community of about a dozen black American families who've owned their land since the end of slavery.
And this is what it looked like. I feel sorry for my neighbors over there. It has made a pond over there in their yard.
They say the water started getting inside their homes after the state turned an old dirt road into 2 new lanes of U.S. Highway 84 that now runs from Georgia to New Mexico. In all, they own about 700 acres east of a town called Elba, just 2 hours north of the Alabama-Florida line. When we were here last, we saw the flooding for ourselves in real time.
We're going to see how the water's rolling down from the highway, the state highway.
Pastor Williams is praying these federal officials will help stop their homes from sinking. And he may need the faith of Moses in the struggle. Already, he says this has cost him business at his family's restaurant and cleaning service. He explains that he's no longer appreciated by some of his white neighbors because he won't let this go and because he keeps talking with us.
Is this what you might call environmental racism?
Yes, sir. This is racism. There's no other way around it. and then they don't even want to correct the problem.
His oldest daughter was 16 years old when the flooding started. She's now 22. People want you to just
quit talking.
Quit talking.
Yeah.
She and her sisters are supposed to inherit this land.
I actually didn't sleep last night.
Just last night?
Just last night.
Because it was raining last night.
Yes, it was a light rain, but still was. Is it gonna come down some more? Is it gonna pour down some more? You know, is it gonna get heavier? What's gonna happen? So I'm trying not to get emotional.
Oh. It's okay. It's okay. This is where you live, and so you are going to get emotional about this.
It's now to the point where we use a wet vac, and we have to suction up the water and pour it out. So it's gotten worse for sure.
How hard has it been on your father?
Very hard.
Yeah.
See him go through it I don't want to say as a child, but as a teenager, I've seen it, but I'm a young adult now. It's still hard. He has a lot on his plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard to see that as his child, yes.
As we first reported, even before the road crews had finished their work, our investigation found electronic diaries, sometimes weekly notes from state employees, showing that they were already getting complaints about the flooding from the families here. From the sky, it's easy to see how all the drains from the freeway empty the water out onto their side of the highway, sometimes pointing it directly at their homes, which are about 15 feet below the road. And researchers from our data journalism unit at our own stations found that normally, the families here would only have a 4% chance of flooding every year, versus the sometimes weekly flooding they've seen every year since the highway construction. About 4 years ago, some of the black families agreed to settlements with the state, where no one was paid more than $5,000, and the state didn't promise to change a thing. But up the road, the state bought out a white family that owned this daycare that was also flooding for $165,000. Peggy Carpenter and her mother Rhonda say it's wrong how little the state is helping the families in Shiloh.
$5,000?
That's ridiculous.
Oh my goodness.
That's ridiculous.
They feel that race had something to do with it. What do you both feel?
Really don't know.
I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. But I don't put it past.
No, I don't.
I don't.
Federal highway investigators say that these civil rights investigations are a great deal of work, and each year they take on about a dozen of them that can last longer than they hope. And if the administration changes after the November election, their priorities could change too. The Transportation Secretary is telling homeowners here he's going to lean on the state.
I came here to see for myself what was going on so that I can be better positioned to make sure that we can engage the state of Alabama in meeting their responsibilities to this community, and to make sure that these community members are not left behind.
So you agree that it's the highway that caused this?
I can't say anything about the investigation that's underway right now, so I gotta be color within the lines. But let me say this: we have a significant and substantial concern about the impact of the highway on this community and about what members of this community are going through. That is part of why there is an active investigation and active engagement with the Alabama DOT. The experiences of a homeowner here in this Shiloh community matter just as much as anybody else in the wealthiest zip code in America. But the bottom line is, people who live here need to be taken care of.
In a statement to ABC News, the Alabama Department of Transportation says that they're working with the Federal Highway Administration to provide facts about the Highway 84 widening project and the concerns expressed by residents of the Shiloh community, and that we are working with a nationally recognized engineering firm to develop plans for further controlling stormwater runoff from the road. In a statement to our affiliate station, WDHN, they say that we do not believe any unfair treatment or discrimination has occurred. They also say that while we believe Shiloh property owners have been adequately compensated for any inconvenience caused by AlDOT's Highway 84 project, we are planning to offer the residents protesting about the drainage the option of either selling their properties to AlDOT or have us implement a project to retain additional water on the state right-of-way. The choice will be theirs. The Williams family says what they need from the state is a better choice. They would like money to rebuild.
What you're talking about doing is, this is a loss.
Right.
And so you would build again in a drier spot, slightly drier, but up.
Yeah, we'll elevate it. You'll take it up two blocks up, and then you will slant and slope everything where it won't even come into your home. Because we're not going nowhere. We're not going to leave our property.
He says it's their God-given right to keep the land that his family has owned for the last 150 years.
Our thanks to Steve for keeping us updated on that story.